Transportation Policy Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, April 15th in the year of our Lord 2025. We'll announce that a quorum is present. At this time, on agenda item number 3 is our safety procedures. They're available for you to peruse, but as always, when Jared runs, we run. Okay. Item 4 is our public comments. Do we have any, Ms. Walker, any public comments? Okay. And of course, we do want to, as always, acknowledge those, our guests who show up, who really have a heart for the transportation issues of our county. So thank you all for being here, and our region. Agenda item number 5 is the approval of minutes as circulated. And at this time, I will entertain a motion. Second. Motion by Mayor McBrayer, second by Commissioner Dalby, to approve the minutes as circulators. Any changes need to be made? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6 on the agenda, my fingers work, is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding Resolution 2025-08 concerning the adjusted Department of Transportation, Texas Department of Transportation, Pavement and Bridge Performance Measures, or PM-02, for 2025. Mr. Jones.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Members of the Policy Committee. Suffice it to say that we are bound by the Code of Federal Regulations to report on FHWA's performance management program by reporting the progress we have achieved toward accomplishing various performance targets like safety, which we did last month, the PM1 targets, pavement and bridge deck conditions, which we are doing right now, and the travel time, reliability, and air quality standards, which we'll talk about in the following agenda item this morning. The approved performance measures and corresponding grading system for pavements and bridge decks are explained on pages 16 and 17 in your agenda backup. Achieving these targets helps TxDOT and MPOs meet federal requirements for pavement and bridge deck condition for both on and off-system facilities, including the interstate. In that regard, MPOs can elect to write their own targets or adopt the state's targets and resolve to select projects that help both the state and the MPO achieve the targets. Since 2018, we have supported the state targets. The pavement and bridge decks targets, known as PM2, are shown on page 22 in your backup. Again, as with the safety targets last month, the Commission reapproved the 24 targets for use in 2025, except for the percentage of pavements on non-interstate NHS or National Highway System in poor condition. For all the targets shown on page 22, the baseline numbers are numbers the Commission established in their initial report to FHWA. The 2-year condition numbers reflect actual field verified results for each characteristic or target. The 2-year and 4-year numbers were also approved by the Commission in their initial 2022 report to FHWA, and as you can see, the targets, we have met all the targets or exceeded in all but one case, and we'll talk about that in a minute. TxDOT reported to FHWA in the State Biennial Performance Report for 22 through 25, which is the mid-performance period for the first four listed targets, that the pavement condition exceeded the targets as a result of several factors. First, TxDOT continues to improve their pavement management techniques, maintenance programs, and rehabilitation techniques through their core programs like their required 4-year pavement management plan and solicited peer reviews. This has allowed TxDOT to improve its efficiency in the program, testing additional lane miles and keeping the percentage of pavements in good condition. In addition, increased funding across the state has established the preservation and rehabilitation of more lane miles, resulting in better pavement conditions. TxDOT has also pledged to continue to invest in preservation and rehabilitation efforts through the remainder of the 4-year target period. TxDOT will continue to use their mandated 4-year pavement management plan and peer reviews to identify preservation and rehabilitation projects, helping to keep good roads good. The only measure or target that was adjusted was the non-interstate pavement on the National Highway System in poor condition, as you can see on your chart there, on your spreadsheet. As shown on the exhibit, the 4-year target was adjusted from 1.5% to 2.5%. The primary factor contributing to the missed target was the increasing number of non-TxDOT maintained roads in poor condition. While the on-system non-interstate pavements have remained relatively stable, the lane miles of the off-system non-interstate pavements in poor condition have increased significantly over the last 2 years. TxDOT will keep improving its pavement management program, their maintenance activities, and rehabilitation techniques to keep on-system non-interstate pavements in poor condition at a low percentage. They will continue to work with the MPOs to prioritize projects and improve off-system non-interstate pavement performance. For the 2 bridge categories, row 5 and 6 on your spreadsheet there, which are in the middle of the page, TxDOT reports again that the targets were met or exceeded as a result of 2 major factors. The first is that TxDOT continues to build new bridges for mobility or connectivity, as well as replace bridges that are in poor or near poor condition. The second factor is that TxDOT invested significantly more in preservation, in-house maintenance, and rehabilitation projects in the last 2 years. They emphasize resolving deficiencies from bridge inspections and double the investment in the bridge maintenance and improvement program. TxDOT also pledged to continue to use the AstroWare bridge maintenance software tool to identify rehab and preservation projects. This software tool, sponsored by AASHTO, is for bridge design and load rating analysis. It stores detailed bridge data sufficient for structural analysis of the superstructure and the substructure. And closer to home, our district bridge engineer reported to me that there are 256 total bridges in Lubbock County. 221 of those bridges are in good condition, and 135 of those bridges are in fair condition, with 0 in poor condition. Breaking that down a little further, there are 233 total on-system bridges, 110 in good condition, or 47%, and 123 in fair condition, or 53%. There are 23 off-system bridges, 4 of those owned and maintained by BNSF. 11 are in good, or 58%, and 8 are in fair condition, or 42%. And finally, beyond Lubbock County, the district is reporting 89.09% good for all their bridges in the 17-county district. And their 2026 goal is to achieve 90% in good condition. And that's my report, Your Honor. If you have any questions, otherwise, I would ask your support for the resolution and your agenda backup.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, could you explain to me what the section says, percentage of person miles traveled on the interstate that are reliable? What does reliable mean in this context?
We'll get to reliable in the next.
You're going to cover that? Okay, I'm just looking at this chart with questions. Okay, thank you.
You said there was one payment I was looking at, on row 4, the 4-year adjustment went to 2.5.
The 2.5%.
Percentage of payments in non-interstate. Was that one particular stretch of road, or was that?
It is measured in segments, and it's probably attributable to one or several segments along the National Highway system for that category of road.
Okay.
They don't give that depth of information in the report, and all the report. All my data comes out of this report, which is what the commission prepares, and they give this to FHWA. And FHWA just sends it on to Congress.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Jones? If not, the chair will entertain a motion on agenda item 6. I have a motion by Councilmember Martinez Garcia, a second by Mr. Warren. Was it? Oh, Mr. Atkinson? To approve Resolution 2025-08. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Agenda item number 7 is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding Resolution 2025-09 concerning the Texas Department of Transportation System Performance Measures PM-3 for 2025. Mr. Jones.
As I noted in the previous agenda item, the commission has again readopted their 2024 targets to use in 2025. PM3 targets measure the performance of interstate movements and congestion mitigation and air quality improvements. The last 3 targets on the spreadsheet back on page 22 are the only ones in the PM3 series that have any relation or effect on the Lubbock Metro planning area. They measure travel time reliability on and off the interstate system for interstate targets, as explained in your backup. Remember, we don't do air quality, so we're not interested in the rest of that data. The takeaway here is the 1.55 congestion index that you see in that last line on your spreadsheet. It basically measures. It is basically a measure or a comparison of the time it takes to travel a route during peak hours. Lost my place. To travel a route during peak hours compared to the time that it takes to travel that same route during free flow conditions or with no traffic, off-peak. Another way to rationalize that 1.55 is to think of it this way. If you know a 20-minute trip that you normally take in 20 minutes is going to take you 30 minutes to complete during peak hours, that's a 1.55 congestion index, which means that it's going to take you 50% longer to make that same trip in congestion or as a result of the congested roadway. More often than not, you will find in most communities that they will post the same 1.55 index, which you all have established for our planning area. The only place you're going to go usually to find a different index will be in your major metropolitan areas. So 1.55 is good, and that's what the commission has set statewide for TxDOT to follow. So, Mayor, back to your question a while ago, reliability is whether or not that segment of roadway that you take every day to go from point A to point B, if you can do that every day in the same manner and same period of time. Reliability is a function of congestion. If it's congested, and it continues to be congested trip after trip after trip, then it's determined to be unreliable.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
So the notes seem to make a distinction between congestion and reliability, though. So I'm trying to figure out what the distinction between those.
Say again.
The notes that we have here on agenda item 7 seems to make a distinction between congestion and reliability. Roadway segments can be both congested and reliable. Others can be congested but unreliable. What is the difference between congestion and reliability?
It's whatever's happening on that particular segment that you're trying to measure.
It's just a time measure, I guess, rather than
timing
the
issue.
condition that brings about.
It's congested, but it's reliably congested. It's
Okay.
congested every day.
I see, the
that-
variation.
You can rely on it being congested.
That is an arguable point, yes.
I would call that unreliable, but yes, that's a reliable congestion. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a hard one for me to get my head around. Thank you very much.
And that's my presentation, and I would ask your support of the resolution in your backup.
Any other questions for Mr. Jones?
I actually had another question. You said that on a congested day, it would add maybe 10 minutes to the drive. Is that taking into account construction? Wouldn't it take longer?
Sometimes it does, yes. The formula, the analysis does take construction into account.
Only 10 minutes? Because I did it this morning and it was like 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Warren, can you draw your microphone down so we can hear you?
I certainly can.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jones, the chart you were showing us, those are statewide goals, correct?
Yes,
And so that 1.55 reliability is not within the Lubbock metro area. That's a statewide
that is
adopted.
a statewide measure.
As I recall, the last time TTI ran any kind of congestion reliability here, we were at about a 1.08, I believe.
You could be right. No.
Which, let's go 1.1 for sake of argument. That means that 10-minute drive would take you 11 minutes in Lubbock. The 1.55 takes into account I-35 in Austin, I-45 in Houston, everything else. So, and yes, Councilwoman, you're correct on a case-by-case basis. I assume you're talking 19th Street. You might run into a outlier on congestion, but this is an average reliability index for the entire system within the Lubbock. Or this one's within the state, ours is within Lubbock, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren.
Well, I was just going to add that, you take into account the construction, but at the time of the morning, you're also taking into account the schools, so that adds even more to that area. So there's several factors, and it doesn't matter if you're taking 19th Street or Avenue Q, it is about the same delay and added time.
On the other side of that coin, if you don't want to fight the congestion index, you just choose another route, go around it.
I wish we had Jetson type tools, but we don't have that. The other route has Texas Tech, so.
All right.
Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you. Oh, Mr. Atkinson.
not a question, good report, just a minor Scribner's error, page 27 on our exhibit. The top of it says Resolution 2023, the bottom says 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atkinson. All right, with that, I will entertain a motion on agenda item number 7. I have a motion by Commissioner Dalby. I've got a second by Councilmember Martinez Garcia to approve Resolution 2025-09 concerning the performance measures PM-3. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8 is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit Administration joint findings and planning recommendations pursuant to July 2024 Joint Federal Certification Review of the Lubbock Transportation Management Area, or our TMA. Mr. Jones.
Thank you. The 2024 Planning Certification Review for the Lubbock TMA is complete and certified to be in substantial compliance with the requirements of 23 U.S.C. 134 and 49 U.S.C. 1607, but with one condition, which was to develop a compliant metropolitan transportation plan approved by the Policy Committee. This review, required by law every 4 years for TMAs in attainment status, was performed on July 23rd and 24th, 2024, as a way to assess the quality of the regional metropolitan planning process, the compliance with applicable statutes and regulations, and the level and types of technical assistance needed to enhance the effectiveness of the planning process. The review process and the structures reviewed are addressed in the final document dated March the 27th, 2025, that each of you received in your agenda email. That being said, our budget process received a commendation showing alignment with state, federal, and local priorities. As noted, the section also had a recommendation to improve our website. It was noted that it was difficult to use. Our long-range plan received a corrective action to complete an updated plan, as I've already noted. Our transit planning work was graded as meeting all requirements. Our public relations efforts were graded as meeting all requirements, with a noted commendation for our efforts with the update of our long-range plan and our TIP. Our civil rights efforts were judged to meet requirements with 3 commendations: one for our efforts using tech students for part-time work to build a crash dashboard for us. That was a workforce issue. Another commendation for our non-discrimination notice posted on our website. Another commendation for the targeted outreach we did to solicit feedback during our MTP update activities. Our civil rights review also had several recommendations. One to include TxDOT and FHWA contact information on our complaint forms, which we've already done, with a notation added that any complaint must be forwarded to TxDOT and to FHWA, and we've added that statement as well. Another was to include a description of the staff training activities for Title VI, including a tagline referring our language services that we offer in our plan. Our 25-28 TIF was judged to be in compliance and is awaiting the new updated MTP. And our performance-based planning activities were also judged to be in compliance. The conclusion was that we are certified for another 4 years. We need to follow up on our MTP, which we have. And in fact, you've already approved it on October the 15th, 2024. And if you read the federal law, it says the only agency with authority to approve that MTP is this board as you sit today. So you have done that. We are following up with still some housekeeping items, and it is ready, as far as I'm concerned, it is ready to go forward with the next call for project revisions. And so that's my report, Your Honor, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions? Mr. Warren?
Mr. Jones, it's my understanding that although you say we have approved the MTP with this policy board, and in your mind that is all we need to do, Federal Highway Administration refuses to approve our STIP amendments because they keep telling us our MTP is not in compliance. So how do those work together?
That is language that they use, and I was on the phone last week actually, and they reminded me that they don't approve our long-range plan.
Okay, so
The catch-22 here
yeah,
is
they won't approve the STIP either.
they won't, right.
Okay. The reason I bring this up to the board is statewide with TxDOT, over the past few years, we have accelerated and front-loaded the UTP statewide. So a lot of projects have gone out the door early, and now they're kind of pulling back the reins just a little bit statewide. That includes consultant budgets and right-of-way budgets. Fortunately for Lubbock, we have not heavily relied on consultants, and we're out ahead of the game on right-of-way acquisition and utility adjustments on Loop 88. We have both Project 3C, which is the interchange with the newly minted I-27 project, and we have 3D, which is the next 2 miles to the west. Will take us out past Chicago. Chicago? Yeah. So those are ready to go. Right-of-way's clear, utilities are moved. Only thing we're waiting on is this STIP approval. I don't know how else to say it other than to encourage you to do everything within your power to get that through FHWA and approved on the STIP, because when I say they're scaling back a little bit, these right-of-way and consultant budgets are hitting other districts around this state a lot harder than they're hitting us. So there's a good chance their projects are going to have to kind of slide back or slide out, I guess, because they don't have the budgets to get them ready for letting. So we're in a relatively good position here to move forward. Excuse me. I also got word this last week down in Austin that with Federal Highway Administration, the Texas Division, the director of the Texas Division of Federal Highways has opted to take the fork in the road and retire from FHWA. And he was announcing his successor, the assistant director, who then stood up and said, I too have chosen to take the fork in the road. And so then he informed us that we're down probably 50% of our federal highway presence in the state of Texas. So we got to move quickly on this. Who knows what the fate of FHWA will be and how long it will take for the dust to settle. So
Believe me, Mr. Warren, we know all too well that it is in a terrible turmoil right now.
right. So, and I understand anything you can do, and TxDOT stands ready as a partner to scream and holler and tear out what little hair I have left, so.
I've talked to TxDOT nearly daily, and they are helping as best they can.
Okay. Just want to bring that to the board's attention. There's a possibility here for some progress on our Loop 88 project, and we need to pull out all the stops and do everything we possibly can to move those projects forward while the iron is hot.
We are so close, I can feel it.
I know.
Any other questions or comments? My only one is US DOT. I've got a recommendation that they at least put a picture of Lubbock on here. It's a pretty picture, but it ain't Lubbock. Think they'll abide by that?
They might.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 8.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Warren. I go a second by Councilmember Martinez Garcia to approve the Joint Federal Certification Review of the Lubbock Transportation Management Area. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor? Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Now, agenda item number 9. The Transportation Policy Committee will now move into executive session under authority of Texas Government Code 51074 to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, in this case, the Lubbock MPO Director. It is now 9:08 a.m. The MPO is now in executive session. Pardon me. It is 9:45, reconvene in regular session, the MPO. There will not be any action needed to take on agenda item 10, so at this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. It is 9:45, and Lubbock MPO is now adjourned. Thank you.